Downsizing sounds pretty simple, right? You've got, maybe the kids have moved out, you need less house, you'll just sell and buy a smaller house. Like, what's the big deal, right? In practice, it is one of the most complicated, logistically difficult, and often emotional sales that most of us will ever go through. So let's talk about what that looks like and walk through it so when you go to actually downsize, you're going in prepared. I'm Cindy Bennett. I'm an associate broker with Maison Real Estate Boutique. I've been selling real estate in the Richmond, Virginia area since 2003. I have helped a lot of people downsize and make that move as seamless as we could possibly make it. And my mother has moved twice in the last year, so I know a little bit about this. The very real emotional part is that in a lot of cases, people have raised their children in their home. They have lived there for many years. They've seen different phases of life for themselves, for their family, for their friends happen within those walls, and it can be very emotional. Not everyone handles this the same way, and some people are very, very emotional about it. Some people kind of compartmentalize and say, I've made the decision, I'm moving, and that's the end of that. But to not acknowledge it and acknowledge that it can be emotional often winds up biting you later on in the transaction. So it's good to kind of acknowledge that, be aware that it's okay for it to be emotional. It's a totally normal feeling. When you have been somewhere for a long time, you're attached. You know all the creaks in the floor, you know the faucets that are drippy, you know that, the one time your son skinned his knee on the front stoop and you can remember bandaging him up right there. It can be emotional, and that's okay. But now let's talk about stuff. Because if you've been in a home for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years or more, I can almost guarantee you have a lot of stuff. And it is tucked into every little nook and cranny, every closet, every cupboard, stuff. And getting over that stuff, getting it weeded through, sorted out can be a huge problem. Some people are very unattached. Some people are only attached when they see it again. And some people want to walk down memory lane with every little piece that they pull out of the closet. Whichever you are, we've got someone, some way to make that process go more smoothly. I have some great junk haulers, for lack of a better word. I have some great charities that I can recommend you donating to, and I have some fantastic organizers that can come in and really help you weed through those things and make sure you're not keeping stuff you don't need just because it's sentimental, but also make sure that you don't toss out things that you do need because you're trying to be strong. My honest advice when it comes to the stuff question is just start now. Start earlier than you think is necessary. If you think you're going to want to move in June and you're thinking about it in April, that's the time to start thinning the herd, getting things out of the house, making donations, having a yard sale, giving things to the kids. Get them gone. Get it started so that it won't be such a Herculean task when you actually come to make the move. What does smaller actually mean in Richmond right now? Well, it has a lot of forms that it can take. You can do a lock and go condo in the city. You can do something where you've got a view of the river. You can buy a villa in Chesterfield that is loosely connected maybe by the garage to the neighbor. And there are townhomes and all sorts of things, many with elevators out there. There's just tons of variety. What I always try to do with my clients, if they truly, truly have no idea of where they want to go, is really talk about what they want their life to look like. What do you want your lifestyle to look like? Do you want to be able to walk down to the James on a Sunday morning and, just have your coffee watching the water? Do you want to have the peace and quiet and a little less traffic and maybe a little bit of a backyard space that's all your own? The options are, while not endless, pretty extensive. So figuring that out and really having an idea of somewhere that you're going to go, that you're going to love, is going to make a huge difference and make that transition so much easier. Most folks downsizing have significant equity in their home, so a lot of times the financial piece is one of the best pieces and one of the most freeing and good feeling parts of the whole deal. Often you're going to be selling a home that is going to be more expensive than what you're buying, so you're going to end up with some cash in the bank too. There are some things to consider with the finances, and one of those are some of the tax ramifications, especially if you've been in your home for a really long time and it has accrued a lot of appreciation over the years. Make sure that you're talking to a tax advisor. I am not one. Talk to a tax advisor or a CPA and get a good feel for where your money should be, how it's going to look, and what's going to happen. What are you going to have to pay, if anything, to sell that house and maybe buy something smaller, less expensive? At the end of the day, downsizing can be one of the best, most freeing experiences you can have. And it sometimes, for a lot of people, is one of the best moves they can make in their lives. The important thing, though, and I would say this about any move, but especially when you're downsizing, because everything does seem a little bit more physically effortful in a lot of cases, is make sure you're prepared. Make sure you have a good idea of what you want, what you're looking for. Make sure that you make the right move so you don't have to make a double move. Someone tell my mother this, because she definitely jumped the gun trying to find something that was all on one floor and realized very quickly she did not like it. It just was not the place for her. So she moved again. And that is something that I certainly don't want to have to do at 84. I wouldn't want to do it now. So my goal always is to help you build that plan and help you make sure that you're making the right decisions for your financial future, for your future of your home, whatever that looks like, and helping you meet your real estate goals. But if you have any questions about downsizing, or your parents or relatives, friends, whomever have any questions about downsizing, I'd love to talk to them. Give me a call, send me a message, drop a comment if you have questions. I'm always here to answer any that you might have, and I look forward to talking to you soon.